The rain fell so heavily that the asphalt on the highway shone like dark glass, reflecting the dim light of the roadside lamps. Michael Carter, a traveling salesman from Sacramento, drove slowly, trying not to skid on the seemingly endless and deserted road. He knew that on these roads at night, you could encounter anyone from lonely travelers to those fleeing the city. But he could never have imagined that this time he would encounter something far worse than loneliness. Around the bend, he noticed a motel with faint neon letters, barely visible through the rain. Sunset Inn. The sign swayed in the wind, and for a brief moment, Michael felt an unpleasant premonition, the kind of anxiety that comes just before a storm. His inner voice warned him not to stop, but fatigue and cold forced him to seek shelter. Parking near the motel, he saw a small figure of a woman standing under the awning, pulling her coat up to her chin. "Is it raining?" he asked as he approached. The woman nodded without saying a word, and waved him toward the reception desk. The motel looked empty. The old furniture creaked, and the smell of dampness and cigarette butts added to the feeling of unease. Michael received the key to room number 7. The bed was stiff and cold, and the blankets were thin like paper. He felt that every sound was a step into a trap. A few minutes later, as he unpacked his things, the door to the room quietly opened. No one entered, but on the floor lay an envelope with a note. "Do not get distracted. It is raining. Not for everyone." Michael's heart skipped a beat. He turned around, empty. Only the darkness outside and the dull noise of the rain. That was the last moment he felt safe. Night. Michael woke up to the sound of creaking under the door. Someone was moving quietly in the corridor. He sat on the bed, tensing every muscle. The door slowly opened, and a figure appeared, a tall man in a dark coat. Michael tried to scream, but his voice failed him. The man moved silently, with a cold, unwavering gaze. On his wrist, he wore a watch engraved with EM. What happened next? Michael did not remember, only the cold, the blow, and the silence. The next morning, the empty room greeted the motel maid, who found only scattered belongings and a puddle of water on the floor. Michael was nowhere to be seen. No one had seen him after he had arrived at the motel. The owners of the motel only shook their heads, saying he had probably just moved on. But something in their eyes betrayed more: fear, or the silent knowledge that nothing would return. This was only the first victim, and the highway could no longer be called safe. It had become a trap for those who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. No one yet knew that behind the motel and its quiet owner stood a couple, capable of cold-blooded murders, planned down to the smallest detail. And as the rain poured and the night covered all traces, someone was already drawing the next map of murders.